If you've been following me for a while, you know that for the first part of my journey, I was still having a sugar treat here and there. So, in other words, I would have like maybe cheesecake if we went out. Um, I would occasionally have ice cream or something like that. And when I did, there were consequences every single time. So often it was a physical consequence where I would feel like I'd have like a sinus infection for several days. Sometimes I would get like cold sores in my mouth. Oh my word, especially if I had popcorn. Oh, it was rough. And for the first 4 years of me eating this way, that was what I would do. And eventually, God led me to the idea of like, you need to stop. This stuff is damaging you. How long is it going to take for you to see this? So not only would I have the physical damage, but I would also have the mental struggle where even if I could contain that treat to the day, I would be struggling for like the next few days. It was always at least 3 days. I'd be struggling with wanting more. And I'd be trying to think of when I could have something. And when I finally got that under control, then I'd be thinking of when can I have the next thing? When is it safe? Safe. I don't even know why I used that word at the time, but it's like, when will it be safe for me to have the next thing? So it was just, it was not fun. And it took about 7 months from the time that God showed me that I was going to have to do it before I was finally ready to do it. 7 months before I could actually not be sad about it. Because it's like, well, why would you be sad? You were in pain. It's like, no, yeah, I know. It was just the idea of giving it up was very hard. So the thing is, though, I got to the point where it was like, I'm closing that door. That door can never be opened again. And then it wasn't long after I had closed the door on sugar that I had to close the door on keto treats in general, just because either I would get a stomach ache or a headache, and I could never pinpoint, was it the sweeteners? Was it some other ingredient? I have no idea. But I know that it was it was like a 50-50 chance. Granted, the numbers might even be greater than that, the percentages. But it was enough for me to say, you know what, I'm so sick of this. I can't be doing this anymore. So I had to close the door on that food too. And I haven't had any since. We are going on a year and a half of not having sweetened treats, whether it was sweetened with sugar or whether it's sweetened with a sweetener. So having that mentality, though, of closing the door on a certain idea, I think is important. It's like you close that door and you're done. You're not going to go back there. You don't want to go back because you know what it does to you. I often see, I was listening to someone talking about it the other day, how they were saying how they know when they have alcohol, it lowers their inhibitions. And then it's like they will just have, more things that they shouldn't have. It's like they'll just start eating food that they shouldn't eat, and then they'll have even more alcohol. And they were admitting this, but they weren't willing to close the door on alcohol, even though they knew what it would do. They're like, well, I'm just going to try to limit it. Now, I had been following this person in the past, and I knew that anytime they tried to limit it, they would fail. Now, I'm not faulting them for that. I understand how that happens. But the issue was that they couldn't make the link between limiting it actually caused the problem. So to leave that door even slightly open, it's like as soon as you have the alcohol, that's when the inhibitions come down. So it's like limiting it actually makes you able to make worse choices. So I saw that sugar was the same way for me. If I said, okay, I'm just going to limit it, well, I couldn't limit it because as soon as I had one, my inhibitions were gone. I would want to have more. So when you have some kind of food in your life that does that to you, it would be better to close the door on it completely rather than trying to limit it. Anyway, that is all for today. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.